Hello, welcome as we take a dive into the Turtles universe, and we talk about characters that were never in the original show, but I believe were in the comics, and were later put into another version of the show, of the Turtles show, as we talk about Justice Force. Now, this was in Mikey's favorite comic, and as far as I know, they have not been in the Nickelodeon shows. They are kind of the Turtles version of the Justice League, though I think you can also consider them kind of the Turtles version of the JSA, Society of America as well. They have two distinct eras. So the Golden Age is Stainless Steve Steel, Joe Lastic, Zippy Lad, Metalhead, Doc Dome, Battling Bernice, Captain Deadbolt, and Silver Sentry, who may be the youngest member of the team. And in the modern era, you have Silver Sentry, still there, Amanda, who is the daughter of Battling Bernice and Doc Dome. She tends to use Doc Dome's mech. Nobody, kind of the Batman analog of the Turtles universe. Raptor, sometimes referred to the Guardian Angel of New York. And Nanotech, aka Nano. Chrysalis and Snowman. I may have forgotten that one. And of course, Turtle Titan, aka Mikey. I think the Justice Force does show up in the comics, though I'm not sure where. And I think they're more prominent in the cartoons, the later cartoon. Sadly, this is one of the ones that I think would have fit in well in the 80s cartoon, but they never used them. Though in the 80s cartoon, they did have a Batman-esque villain that could have fit right into the Adam West villain. Supposedly, he was driven mad when the Turtles left him tied up in a clock tower. And to me, if you're going to do, I think someone's just doing like an Adam West, in the Shadows podcast, it's just that if they had done Nobody, they could have done an Adam West style. Well, there would have been like a, if you did do that, that would have been the perfect villain to bring him in on. Because, I mean, yes, he had a thing against the Turtles, but he had that Adam West villain style. So, I mean, the Turtles having their own version of Batman to help them against essentially their own kind of Clock King-like villain would have been perfect for that. I'm just saying. Justice Force is Mikey's favorite comic, and it's supposedly all the comics are based on true life ventures. So I'm assuming there's a company like Marvel Comics that got the rights to license them, or because Stainless Steve Steel owns a comic shop, along with I think it's Metalhead. So I'm assuming either there's a company like Marvel that like with the Fantastic Four, supposedly in their universe license, got the rights to these real heroes, or my theory is Zippy Lad is a bit like the Wizard, because in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, the Wizard is shown to be mentoring a young artist who I think is supposed to be Jack Kirby, because it shows him drawing the Thing. So I think Zippy Lad was and maybe still is a comic book artist in civilian life, and I think he took the real life stories of the Justice Force and translated them into comics. May even spun off individual stories into different comics with the other heroes on their solo adventures, getting the rights to do it and giving them the money. So I think, even though it's never said, I think Zippy Lad's villain identity is a comic book artist. All of them, he seems like he'd be the one that would be the best one to be comic book artist. Joe Lastic, I think he was like kind of a Reed Richards college professor type, because he has that kind of look. Just my personal thoughts here. So anyways, let's try me randomly talking about Justice Force and what I think. Now, we know they're Mikey's favorite comics. We don't know what other comics Mikey collects, because he only ever talks about Justice Force, but I'm thinking he probably collects the Justice Force universe. So if there's spin-off comics with like Stainless Steel Steve, Stainless Steve Steel, or Joe Lastic, or Zippy Lad, Metalhead Doc Dome, Battling Bernice. He would have them. But they would be part of his Justice Force collection, because like, oh, if you want to read what happened with Doc Dome, and Stainless Steel Steve went solo to tackle, the aliens from Dimension 9, you need to read Stainless Adventures at issue number 4. Then, of course, Mikey would have that. So I think Justice Force is just kind of this separate universe. And I think Zippy Lad, Mr. Van Denny, was probably a comic book artist that did all these comics and has this big comic book company. Doesn't it kind of like Stan Lee or Jack Kirby? I wish they could have done more with Kirby, that character that was based on Jack Kirby. He was in the Donnie Solo story, and they actually animated that. That's a good episode. I wish they could have brought him in for Justice Force. But he was in an alternate dimension, but I wish they could have, brought him in as like just as a honorary member or something. The dude's got a whole group of superheroes. Saying. But yeah, and Mikey does only see as Turtle Titan with Turtle Titan Beyond. Anyways, that's my talk about Justice Force. What do you guys think? And do you guys have a favorite member of Justice Force? Let me know in the comments below who's your favorite member. And if a member of the Justice Force crossed into the Marvel Universe, who do you think it would be? And who do you think would be the best in the Marvel Universe? Turtle Titan? Nobody? Nano? Silver Sentry? Maybe one of the old school guys, like Stainless Steve Steel. Alright, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon for new. Thanks for checking out my Samurai vlog on TMNT's Justice Force. Till next time, later days.